That's not capitalism, that's crony capitalism. Explain to me how capitalism does not ultimately end up with crony capitalism unless you heavily regulate it and slash or supplement it with socialist inspired policy. This is exactly my point. Those are the only ways you can have a capitalism that benefits the people and doesn't exploit them to death, and so that it doesn't destroy our natural world in the process, either for natural resources it can profit off of, or for funding wars and supporting wars and continuing wars to increase our presence in another place so that we can exploit that place for its natural resources, or advancing ethnic cleansing. Like, one of the biggest reasons Britain encouraged Zionist movement to Palestine and the creation of a Zionist state there was so that they could have a trade outpost in the Middle East. That's one of the biggest reasons ethnic cleansing happened there. Crony capitalism is just the idea that people are using their wealth, their resources, to improve business relationships, and then use those relationships to increase their profits by even more. And or political relationships, because of their excessive wealth and resources, they can buy politicians and therefore buy policy that leads to more profit for them. This was in response to a video where I said the reason that Montana is at risk of being the last best place is because billionaires are coming into buying up all the land and property and businesses and making it unaffordable for everyday working Montanans to live here. Right? And someone said, well, that's crony capitalism. Okay, then that's what's happening. And I think what you're saying is you're against crony capitalism. So we need to implement policy to protect people from crony capitalism in this state and in this country. Good job. We should regulate capitalism more. I agree. This is all my point, right? If you don't implement policy that protects people from being exploited to death and the natural world around us from being exploited to death, you get crony capitalism. So interesting to me, the capitalism defenders often overlap with this idea that we should have a free market, these libertarian market principles. And it's like, those two things are going to lead to our death. Whereas fully socialist and communist countries, people love to tell you that they inevitably end up with authoritarian dictators, right? And again, I said this in the last video, but the idea of a dictator does not fit into the ideas of socialism and communism because they're about worker and or public control. Workers have the power. Everything is publicly owned by the people. And those things do not inevitably have to end up with death, because the people are deciding what their country does to make money. This is exactly why I hate capitalism.